Greetings, Earth enthusiasts. If you ever wondered about the incredible perspectives our planet has to offer from high above, you're in the right place. I am Dr. Clive Coetzee, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this captivating journey into the world of remote sensing. Welcome. And please remember to like, subscribe to, and share this video. Thank you.
In the past number of video tutorials, we focused primarily on the use of the nighttime lights dataset, and we performed a number of functions and tasks relating to that dataset. Importantly, the dataset only has one band, which is the average visualization band or the average radian band. So it's a one band dataset. Nonetheless, we performed a number of functions with the data set. So the next set of video tutorials will focus on multi-band data sets. By that I refer a data set that has a number of different bands. In particular, we're going to focus on the LandSat series of data sets. And the LandSat is particularly useful in terms of its daytime capabilities, its daytime images that it presents. So the previous video tutorials, we looked at nighttime images. Now we're going to focus on daytime images. And as I said, we're particularly going to focus on the LandSat series of data sets. So we go to our trusty Earth engine. We go into our data sets. Remember, I'm not going to go to the platform for now. I'm going to first go to the data sets to just familiarize myself or to familiarize ourselves with the LandSat data sets. So there, I'm not going to use the search bar because there's already a tag there, a button there, which I simply can just press, and that will take me to the LandSat landing pages. Now, please read through all these information. It's important to understand which of the images or data sets you should actually refer to or use. You'll see there's a number of LandSat data sets, starting from LandSat 1 to 5, and the latest being LandSat 9. Now, in generally, I don't use LandSat 1 to 5 or LandSat 4. I particularly start at LandSat 5, but nonetheless, you can use them, go and play around with them and see what is possible. But for the purposes of this series of video tutorials, we're going to focus on LandSat 5, LandSat 7, LandSat 8, and the latest version, LandSat 9, because they do have differences. And it's important to use them in a continuous basis so that you get a set of images from 1994 until present. Okay, so importantly, if you click on any of these LandSat datasets, it will take you to each specific landing page. So let's go with LandSat 5. Let's click on that, left click, and it will take it to each particular landing page. You'll see there's three options, and that is relevant to all the other LandSat datasets as well. You get a surface reflectance, top of atmosphere, and raw images. Now, I, in general, don't work with the raw images. I don't work with the top of atmosphere. I work with the surface reflectance. Okay, so this would be my preferred option. There's nothing wrong with using these two. You're welcome to use it and see what how does that compare to the surface reflectance, because there's quite significant differences. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the surface reflectance of each of my LandSat data sets, and I'm specifically going to use the tier 1 data set. Now, tier 2 I don't particularly use because the images are not that great, so I particularly focus on tier 1. So let's use tier 1. I simply click on tier 1 and I get to its landing page. So there's a full name of it. It's the LandSat 5 level 2 collection 2, which is the right ones, and I'm using tier 1. Now it gives you the date of availability of March 1984 till the 5th uh, January, February, March, April, May of 2012. Now, the LandSat data is neither monthly nor yearly nor weekly. It has a specific pattern that it collects the images, and I think it's every 16 days or something to that effect. So it's an irregular time period. Okay, so it's not monthly or yearly per se. It has its own time frame that it collects and presents the images. Okay, so that is its time frame. There's its unique identifier, which we're going to use. Earth Engine, again, it's not a single image, it's an image collection. So there's multiple images within this data frame, time frame, and that it is its unique identifier. And then here is the description of it, which you can read, and then the band. And this is quite important because that gives you the band that we're going to use. And remember, this is multiple bands. So there's band 1, which is the blue band, band 2, which is green, band 3, it's red, band 4 is near infrared, 5 and 7 is shortwave infrared reflectance. Now, I'm not going to go through the reflectance itself, that you'll have to read a little bit about these bands and what does it mean when it says blue surface reflectance. But basically, it collects the reflectance from the surface and it presents those images. But anyway, so that's a little bit of self-study, self-reading that you have to do. So we're going to work within these 6 sets of bands. Bands 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, band 5, and band 7. It gives you the minimum and maximum. It gives you the scale. It gives you an offset, and those are we're going to use. And it gives you the wavelength that it captures the images with, and obviously the description. So that's quite important to understand this. And obviously, the pixel size is 30 meters, so it's quite small that it reflects on Earth, 30 meters. Okay, so as per normal, that is our landing page with all our important information, and then at the bottom it's our code to get going. Okay, so there's our variable. We're gonna have a data set variable that's gonna be created. It's an image collection, and that's its unique identifier. That's a filter date. Then it applies the scaling factors. Now, here's our scaling factors. Remember, here they are. Scale value and an offset value. So in the code, it already includes the scale values and the offset values for bands SR, for bands 1 to 7, and then it has a band 6 that it has a different scaling factor of the 003 and 49. You'll see the band 6, 003 and 49. So it scales those images according to the band requirements. So that's already built in. Then, as I said, you apply those scaling factors to the actual variable, to the image itself with this code. And there's our visualization parameters, our map center. Obviously, I'm going to use my own, and then to display the map. And you'll have the similar scenario with the other LandSat data set. So let's quickly go to LandSat 7, familiarize ourselves quickly with that. So I'm just going back. There's LandSat 7. So I click on the LandSat, and there we go. Remember, surface reflectance, top of atmosphere, raw. So I'm going to go to surface reflectance, and I'm going to January. Okay, so there is its landing page. It's LandSat 7, level 2, collection 2, tier 1. Okay, there's our time period from 99, and it's still operating, still collecting data. There's your unique image identifier, dataset identifier. There's your bands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, exactly the same as bandsat 5. There's bandsat 6. So it's bands and its scale and offset description is exactly the same as LandSat 5. Okay, there's its code. you'll see it's basically a mirror except a unique identifier. Where this is LandSat 7, the previous one is LandSat 5. And obviously there's the dates, there's the scaling factors, then you apply the scaling factors, and there's a visualization, and you add your layer. Okay, so that is, so in general, there's very little differences between Landsat 5 and Landsat 7 when it comes to the bands, the scaling factors, etc., etc. Except obviously Landsat 5, 7 is still in operation compared to Landsat 5. So they're very similar, these two data sets. Then we get to Landsat 7. This is where there's quite a big difference in the Landsat data sets. So from 5 to 7, there's not much of a difference, but from 7 to 8, there's quite a big difference. So please make sure you understand the difference. Okay, so again, same story, surface reflectant, top of atmosphere, raw image, and we go to tier 1. Okay, you'll see there is the same level 2, collection 2, tier 1. There's a date, starts it in 2013. So that's a good, remember Landsat 7 started in 1992. So that's a good 21 years later when Landsat 7. So the technology significantly changed or improved from Landsat 7 to Landsat 8, and thereby where the differences lies. It's still in operation. There's its unique identifier. And here's the biggest change. You'll see that the bands, it has much more bands than the previous Landsat 7 and Landsat 5. It has significantly more. Also, in this case, our band 1 is ultra blue or coastal aerosols. So its blue surface is band 2, whereas in Landsat 7 and 5, blue would be band 1. It doesn't, 5 and 7 doesn't have this particular band. It only starts with a blue, which is band 1. So when we specify bands to compare, make sure you understand which bands you must, is the same bands, meaning, that, apples and apples and pears and the like. Okay. So that's important to understand the bands, and it has a band 6 here, which others don't have, etc., etc. Okay, and there is its code, but same structure of the code. You've got the image collection that you call. You have the scaling factors. You apply the scaling factors. You apply your visualization, and you center and you add. And it will be pretty much the same for Landsat 9, because from Landsat 8 to Landsat 9 is, again, not much of a difference. Surface reflectance, top of atmosphere, raw images. I'd simply just click on tier 1. I get to, again, Landsat 9, level 2, collection tour, tier 1. There's a time frame, it's 2021. Remember, Landsat 8 started in 2013, so that's about 7 years later. There's the image collection, but you can see the bands are similar to Landsat 8 in that band 1 in our cases, again, this ultra blue and normal blue as in band 2. The scaling factors are the same, the wavelengths are the same. So not much difference between band 8 and Landsat 8 and Landsat 9. There is the code. So in a nutshell, band 5 and 7 are very similar. Which is quite different to bands at 8 and 9, which is again quite similar. And that has to be, it's related to the change in the technology available in these sensors. So that is my landing page for the daytime images. Interesting now, Sentinel is also daytime images. There's the Sentinel images. The big issue with the Sentinel is purely just the time frame, whereas Landsat gives you images from 1984. Your Sentinel, unfortunately, only gives images from 2015 and onwards. So it's Sentinel gives you, I think, a better image than Landsat. So there's definitely advantages in using Sentinel. As I said, the clarity and the detail is much better in the Sentinel than in Landsat. However, Landsat simply gives you a much bigger scope in terms of its historical images than Sentinel. So it depends what you want to do. If you want to go far back in time and create a picture of the daytime changes over a long period of time, then LandSat would be the preferred option. If you're interested in images just today and how does it look in today, then I would use Sentinel. So both have its advantages and disadvantages, but to the large degree, it depends purely on what you as the researchers want to do, whether you're going to use LandSat or you're going to use Sentinel. So the choice is up to you. You can then work through it depending on your requirements. I said, there is my LandSat data sets. As I said, I'm going to use LandSat 5, LandSat 7, LandSat 8, and LandSat 9. So to get going, I simply just click on the first LandSat data sets, which is dataset 5. I remember I go to its surface reflectance, and I simply just say open in code editor, and it will open in the code editor. Like to make it bigger. Okay, so there is the code. And so I'm going to do this for um, LandSat 7, just to give you an idea. So I'm going to LandSat 7, and I basically go to tier 1, and I run its code. So now, and I do the same for LandSat 8 and LandSat 9. So there's my LandSat 7. It's clearly stating a LandSat 7. And there's my LandSat. Let's just swap them. There's my LandSat 5. And there's my LandSat 7. Okay, so I don't want to work with them in separate scripts. So I'll just take LandSat 5. I basically just copy LandSat 5 and I paste it before LandSat 7. Okay, so it's now pasted in. Now, obviously, there's some duplication that I can change. I need to include my region of interest. Otherwise, it's going to display for the whole of the world, which is just too big. I'm going to change my time frames, etc., etc. So you'll see that it has the same scaling. So I'm going to just delete the scaling factors. Remember, I'm going to use my own center, my map center, and I'm just going to add my layers together. So this is my first port of call. Then I'm gonna okay, so I copy the paste it. Let's delete that. Okay, so now I've just rearranged it. I haven't done anything else significantly. I've just rearranged it. Now, obviously, I need to add in my region of interest. So I'll go to my assets, and I go and find my region of interest within my assets. Remember, we're working with a shapefile, which is in a vector format. If I left click on it, it will give a little window again, and it will display it there with its features and its properties. Let's just quickly wait for it to, and there is its unique identifier. Okay, there's my image. It's rightly located. I simply just press enter, and there it sits. Or you can simply just, as I said, click on this little arrow, and it will automatically. Remember, I'm going to rename it to Roy. Okay, now I'll need to display this in the map, and then I want to create a clip so that I can clip all my images related to my region of interest. Remember, I'm going to also now copy and paste the LandSat 8 in there, and I'm also going to copy LandSat 9 in there. So in this particular script, I'll have a LandSat 5 dataset, I'll have a LandSat 7 dataset, and then I'll have a LandSat 8 dataset and a LandSat 9 dataset. So I'm taking all the scripts as they are indicated in each one's landing page, and I simply just copy and paste it, copy and paste it in one script, and then I do some and I add once I've added all 4 scripts, I do some rearranging, so I delete the duplicates, But also very important, now you need to make sure that you change the names. Because remember, you see there is a data set and there is a variable data set, but they are for unique, for different LandSat data sets. Okay, so you'll have to make sure that there's no duplication of variable names. So you see there's a visualization again, and there's a visualization. In this case, the visualization is exactly the same, so I can in fact either delete it or leave it as is. That's up to you. You'll see the, yeah, you see now there's the real where the problem was. You have got two layers, but both layers have the same variable or image, same visualization and same name. So you'll have to make sure that you change the names, the variable descriptions to something unique to itself so that there's no duplication. Otherwise, your script is going to run into problems. So you go to the four LandSat landing pages, you copy the scripts, and you simply paste it into a script window, and then you rearrange those scripts so that you delete duplicates where necessary, and then you change the names of the scripts so that there's no confusion, so each variable has its unique name. Okay, then we're going to clip each of these images to our region of interest, and I'm going to create a medium image because I'm looking at multiple years for each one. Okay, so fast forward. I hope this understands and makes it clear. We're going to delve into this, recap it in our next tutorial. Okay, so this takes a bit of work. It takes a bit of going through it. Please be very meticulous in making sure that there's no duplications. That each variable has its own unique name, etc., etc. Please take time to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. Okay, so fast forward. I've already done this, and this is what I've got. You would agree with me that this is quite a neat looking image of my region of interest. And this is the LandSat 9 image, and also so the LandSat 8, 7, and 5 images are loaded. You can simply just activate and deactivate these images based on the layers panel. So I'm going to end this video with what we've done so far. We're going to continue in our next set of videos exploring these images in much more detail. And thanks for joining me on this journey of remote sensing. Trust it will be a very fruitful journey. Remember to please like and subscribe and do all those fancy things to help me. And please stay tuned for the next sets of videos. And yeah, great. I'll see you on the other side.